Mark. Welcome back to issue number 4 of Akira Kizzau. Okay, Street Fight. Alright. Elric Karza, Slayer of Azathoth, Lord of the Bumps in the Night, former Emperor of the Tarrasque Legion, roared at the human wizard as the caster began climbing the fire escape of a nearby warehouse. "You! Bring it back here!" the immortal roared as he grabbed hold of the bottom rung of the fire escape. He attempted to pull it off the warehouse, but a jolt of electricity shot through him as he grasped it. The large section of pavement holding Karza's sword hovered about 50 feet off the street from which it had been removed. Standing atop the second story of the warehouse, the wizard waved down at the heroics. "I think you're up. I can keep it in the air for a while, but unless you can keep him away from me, my own tricks are near depleted." Salia and Ariane stood to either side of Karza, giving him even more to vent about. A stream of expletives poured forth from his mouth as he retrieved 2 knives from the sheaths on his hip. "None of you have any idea how tired I am of this." Looking first left, then right, Karza knelt down and jumped into the air to grab the ankle of Lunar Twilight. The Genshin did not react at first, but burst out laughing when Karza seemed confused when she did not drop to the ground with his weight added. "You have no idea how Genshin fly, do you?" she mocked, lifting a handful of lavender and black smoke. Moments later, Karza was screaming louder than before while trying to wipe away a face full of smoke. His knives clattered to the ground. Kizzau made a few sharp whispers, and Pratchett snatched them up before teleporting them safely out of reach. Kizzau had been busy making a few plans in case her family and friends had trouble dealing with the being that had once proclaimed himself more powerful than even the Pantheon. She had never encountered him before, but had read up on all his exploits. Each time he appeared, he had some new motive. Every time it had taken quite an effort to remove him from the playing field. In the last encounter, the heroic Dawnclover had been forced to break the sacred rule in order to buy the Pantheon time to complete a curse. She broke Karza's sword and drove its remains through his neck. The Pantheon completed their hex over Karza, but Clover had already done the unthinkable. Using her sensors, Kizzau easily found the scars on Karza's throat. Someone had truly mended the wound, giving credence to the villain's story. There was something off about him. Everything she had read about Elric Karza, was someone that came with a plan after plan. The being squaring off against them was unhinged, desperate. It was something they could use to their advantage. Or it could go horribly wrong. Sprinting forward, Kizzau lashed out with both short scythes. One connected with Karza's shoulder, the other his side. Sparks flew off the armor under the trench coat. Before the immortal could react, she renewed her cloaking spells. Elric Karza was no fool, but anything that might easily tip off Kizzau's location was diffused by both blows. To the credit of the immortal, he continued facing Ariane, swinging his arms out in quick movements, looking for an opening of some sort. Ariane had practiced sparred with her sister, now a renowned monk, for the last 3 years. She easily danced with his blows, but could find no easy point from which to strike. "We have another problem," Lunar Twilight yelled as she blasted something behind Kizzau. Turning, the Blight Elf saw a swarm of lurkers hovering, waiting for their own point of entry. "This just got a lot worse," Kizzau whispered as Salia jumped down behind her to assist. Kizzau assessed her readouts and determined the number of lurkers was far greater than the small gathering they had found in the sewers. Without warning, a volley of phlegm arced over their heads toward the lurkers. Looking back, she saw Gertrude and her friends launching glob after glob into the dark, cloud-shrouded beings. "I will be honest," Zaya said. "Assisting an army of llama against an invasion of lurkers was not on my bingo card for any part of my life, but I am loving every disgusting moment." "Help would be appreciated," Ariane said. As Karza used the llama assault as a distraction to get a lucky blow on the wood elf, she buckled, but managed to cross her katana to bring up a shield to deflect the next shot. No thought was necessary as Kizzau and Salya both sprinted forward. An instant before they arrived, Karza turned expertly on his heel and darted down the street at an insane sprint. Salya pursued as Karza to assist her as Kizzau to assist her wife back to her feet. That blow was harsh, but nowhere near what I would have expected from him. Are you all right to continue? Kizzau asked, watching Karza and Salya dart around a corner. Only winded, she replied. Let's not let them get far from us. He has already proved he is more than capable without his fabled sword. Together, they started off at a steady pace. They knew they would never be able to achieve a pace to catch the two, but both were able to track Salya's location via the sensors in their visors. Kizzau looked back and saw Twilight and Gertrude leading the charge against the lurkers. She knew the llama could handle herself, and the wizard seemed more than capable in a pinch. Smiling, she raced ahead. Even through the stress of the moment, she found herself closer to both her wife and sister-in-law than ever before. And with that, I will see you guys for the conclusion of issue number 4, Street Fight, in the near future, and thank you for listening.